All right, folks. I'm gonna actually gonna stream myself. Let me see if I can do capture. I'm gonna actually do my first reaction video that I ever done on YouTube over N64 games, and you know like how some people in sports they're diehard fans of any sports games and they'll defend it with tooth and nail their team. I feel the same way, but with the N64, not only with just the N64, certain games as well. So as what's it called as a console, there's a lot of people that bash it. It's like, oh, the only reason people put it as number one is because of the nostalgia factor. That could be it. And they always bash the controller because of the joystick. I honestly think that the controller is not that bad. Once you get a modified joystick where it's actually movable and playable, like it erases that. The only problem is that it's either you have the left hand for the D-pad or left hand for the joystick. It wasn't like the GameCube where you could actually rotate and use both almost at the same time, which I mean that's probably like the only con on that. And by the way, I'm wearing the Turok 1 Dinosaur Hunter shirt and I'm wearing a Turok 2 cap. If you wanna uh get yourself some Turok 3 merchandise, hopefully from limited runs, they're probably gonna take like probably 2025 because now they take like a year for a lot of the merchandise to come. It used to take like 6 to 8 months, but enough of me ranting. Let's get down to the video before I make go into the video because I'm gonna make it fast. I don't want to make this an hour stream. I'm gonna put it on mute for copyright purposes because I don't want to like if there's any ads or if there's any particular things that the guy says I don't want to use. Like I want to use his video. I want to skip some parts and I want to go into detail on some stuff. I'm not gonna bash the guy. My respects to him. I'm just gonna bash the list, and I want to know where the hell does he get his list. I would like to debate, because that's the thing. Like, I want to debate people on certain things. I'm already frustrated with, like, when it comes to certain topics, like the N64. Like this guy, he said so he didn't make the list. He wasn't alive when the N64 came. Yet he made a video, and a lot of these younger generations, they have the talent, the know-how, and the patience to do all this kind of content. And kudos to him because I've been waiting for years and nobody has made a tier list of all 296 games in just one video. And this guy was the first one to pull it off. So thanks for that. But I mean, the video really pissed me off. Like, well, it didn't necessarily 100% piss me off. I had mixed feelings. There was some games where I was like, oh, well, I actually agree in a way. But there was a lot of games that were like, damn, they weren't supposed to be that low on the tier list. And honestly, like comparing myself as a millennial and he's Generation Z, which is probably born after 2006, 7, I think Generation Z. Like I can see how millennials can be more of a-holes. Like I noticed that the millennials, they're more like aggressive and more like F-bombing, and then the millennials, they're more like dark humor, saying dark jokes and stuff that's kind of be rude. So I can see more or less the different perspectives in terms of games, in terms of how he sees things as well. So without further ado, let me make the camera a little bit smaller, and then we can go for the right there. I don't have a video software to actually edit a lot of this stuff, so gonna bear with me with all of this. Alrighty, folks. So this is the channel. I'm gonna put it in the description below about his channel. It's only what 28,000 subscribers, which this channel I see it as a channel that can grow rapidly well because it's a team, and honestly he contradicts himself. He says that he didn't make the list. His team kind of made him put some of the games there. I'm like, where do you put the list? Did you go from Metacritic, GameFAQs? Like what specific websites? Like I don't wanna go into detail too much on the intro here. I'm gonna skip it. See commercials, commercials. Let me hear in my notes. I skipped a few games because I was skipping a lot of this crap. So he put Batman. Like a lot of people are gonna have similar feelings for a lot of these worst games. And honestly, I feel like maybe he got it from a certain website and he put Batman Beyond as the worst N64 game. Honestly, this right here, it's debatable. Some people say it's Superman 64. I think it's Superman 64. This guy says it's Batman Beyond. My brother thinks it's Power Rangers as number 296. And honestly, Superman 64, I've been seeing it. A lot of people bash it as one of the worst. This is actually the first time I see Batman Beyond. I hear that it's a bad game, but not like as the top 10 worst N64 game. Like a really bad game, but not a top 10 worst. And like next after that, he put Carmageddon 64. There's just only one area where you can fall in the water. And once you fall in the water, you can't move, and it's basically you have to redo it again. After that, like the game's not that bad. Once you pass the level one, then the multiplayer aspect. I don't know. I didn't ever understand why so many people put Carmageddon 64 as their top 10 worst. I never understood how. But Superman 64, I can totally relate 100% that. And if I can make this faster, goes on and on. Okay, he put Carmageddon 64 and then he was talking about it's not a really bad game, man. Trust me. You see, that's the area where you can fall in the water. You got to be very careful. But it's not a really bad game. In my book, a lot of the worst games are a lot of the sports games, like some of the racing games. This is actually one of the worst games. I get it, but not top 10 worst. It's down there in the top bottom 200 for sure. That I can agree, but not top 10 worst. And I keep defending that. Keep defending this game for that list. Um, what's it called? A lot of the baseball, soccer, football games. That was just some genre that unless I could be biased in that regard, I would probably put those games down the list. I know some of the racing games on the N64 have have a special place in my heart, like Mario Kart. If you can actually put that one as a sports games because it's this cap is kind of tight. I just got it today. So let's move on, man. I'm gonna move this a little bit quicker. Put Superman 64. We all know that. This game broke one of my N64 bottoms back in the day. That's how bad it was. It ruined my B bottom. And then they put this game. This game is not that bad. Maybe you're bad, but it's not that bad. Like this game in War Gods gets a lot of hate. And it's like the sheeps, man. They come and they give out the same opinion on certain things. Like for the longest time, Quest 64 back in the 2000s and 90s, it was getting hate a lot. But this past 10 years or so, it's been getting loved a lot. And ever since a lot of people are getting back in their N64, because in the 2000s, the average collector, they wanted to collect a lot of the PS2, Xbox titles. And now that they got rid of most of those PS2s and Xbox, now they're getting back to collecting again from scratch from the 80s and 90s and starting back to the 2000s with PS2. So it's kind of interesting that a lot of people got rid of their N64s and now they're getting their N64s back again. And they tried Quest 64 and one that game was for the longest time would get a lot of hate and doesn't get a hate that much anymore. So I feel like this game has been getting a lot of hate, man. Not a bad game. It really is not a bad game. It's just that they're bad at the game. Super Bowl in 64. That's a trash game. Go try it out. John Romero Daikatana. I would put those two as one of my top 10 worst. Superman 64 is top 10 worst. This one right here is really bad as well. This one right here. I hear that I think it's this one that the PC version was like one of the I think it's this one or a similar game that is considered to be like one of the worst games. Even by a lot of people say it's worse than Superman 64 because it was very buggy. Superman 64 is not that buggy, it's just that it's horrible game, man. Again, ads. That's why I had to aside from copyright purposes for the video, I wanted to actually okay, he put Rugrats. Now hear me out. Rugrats is not that bad of a game. A lot of the Rugrats in the N64 title get a lot of hate, man. A lot of hate. Like, let me make the camera a little bit smaller. Right, so hear me out. Rugrat games get a lot of hate. I think they're not good, but they're not bad. I'd say they were between rank 180 to like rank 200. No, rank 160 to like rank 200. Like they're not even average, but they're like below average if that makes sense. So they're not bad games, and honestly, this person puts it at really low. This game, on the other hand, it pissed me off. Our Marines, sure, the single player sucks, but the multiplayer aspect is actually really good. Probably even better than Turok 3. In Turok 3, you're gonna see it is much, much higher, and that pissed me off, man. Like, there are certain games here in this list that really pissed me off, and I would like to debate. Like, a lot of these sports games, these wrestling games, they're kind of trashy. I get it, man. South Park Rally is not that bad of a game. Never heard of that one, Deadly Arts. This one I hear is really horrible. And it's a damn shame because I claim meet a lot of these bad games. A lot of these bad games. Big Mountain 2000, yeah, a lot of the sports games, man. Paperboy didn't get a lot of love. Paperboy is a really hard game, so once you know what you're doing, it's not a bad game. I'll put a lot of these freaking um football games, NFL games, and I know there's some people that really I think NFL Blitz is probably like a good one, but it's not for me, man. It's not for me. Virtual Pool, Golf. I would put a lot of these. Dude, War Gods is not a bad game. I think War Gods is like around the same as Rugrats, like anywhere between 170 to like 200. I feel like the first 25 games are masterpiece, like wonderful games, if you would put that. The this 26 to 100 are great games. List 101 to 200, 199, sorry, are like average to good games. 200 to like 289 are below average to bad games. And then the 290, yes, the 290, well, the last 20 that is, which was 90s. How many N64 games are there? They're 294, right? They're 294, 296. How many N64 games are there, man? 296. Okay. The last 10 from 280, I'd say 286 to 296 are like junk games that you wouldn't want to play. And everybody has their own list. But I've seen like the vast majority of people have Superman 64. in a certain way we can agree. So Batman, I don't know. I think it was one guy that started it all that put Batman there. Then from there, everybody started spreading out because Batman, for the longest time, back in the early 2000s, tens, back when YouTube was like a different community, not owned by Google. Like there was some people that would debate on GameFAQs and other sites as their worst games, and a lot of people didn't put Batman as one of their worst ones. But Superman was always like a really bad one. Battlezone. I played a lot of these games, but I have never tried this one. Battlezone. You know, other speed these sports games. I haven't heard anything bad about this one. The other one, yes, the ECW. Beast Wars is not a bad game. I played that. This one it is bad. This one should be a much higher. I think this one should be a top 10 worst. This one is just as bad as well. Actually, no, the letters is not too bad. The first one, yes. The mythologies, the only reason it's a bad game is because it's insanely hard. Once you really get past the difficult level, it's not a bad game. It really isn't. Like if you put those cheat codes and Game Shark or anything, like if you can beat it, this is one of those few games that if you use cheats or Game Shark, you wouldn't feel guilty playing the game. You would really enjoy it because the game is very hard, man. A very hard game. Top Gear Rally. Yeah, the N64 one's bad. It makes the it makes the title look bad, but the Super Nintendo ones and the PS2 ones are actually pretty good. The Powerpuff Girls, it's kind of like, oh man, it's not bad, but it's like the Tom and Jerry game. It's very generic, and the Batman as well is very generic. Any Racers, no. Dude, South Park's Love Shack is not a bad game. The mini games were fun. This is like, who makes this? This game should be like at least and one. I should make my list, but I don't have a edit software to edit all these videos like this guy. He makes like these people make really good job making these edit videos. I had one, at one point Vegas Pro 13, but I don't have it. I don't never have the license for that. Yeah, I should start saving up to get one legit. But I mean, who gets it legit? Everybody pirates a lot of the stuff. This is the game that my brother says it's a. I'm actually gonna play this in a bit. I'm gonna turn on my N64 and give it a try. See how bad it is. I might probably end up trying all of the N64 games. This one, this one, 265. This should be on the top 10. This should be number three or number four as top worst. Of course, I'm gonna put number one as Superman 64, but this one's horrendous. The fact that John Romero quit making Quake, he threw in the towel. He didn't want to make video games anymore. He felt destroyed after Quake 1. Like everybody wanted to quit. Like he said it in one of the interviews. It was a very stressful project, and honestly, like the game looks really well for the year. So it was a lot of pressure to make something new because they got in away with Final Doom, which is practically the same thing as Doom 2. So there was like, let's make this as a cash and grab, but it didn't put a lot of effort into making that. Now, from Final Doom and Quake 1, it was a whole completely different story. Now, for John Romero's Daikatana, this game came out in 2000. I thought it came out in 1999. I think they took longer than a year to make this game. Like they hyped this game and they were gonna make it as like the best, one of the best in 64 games. It was gonna be like another Elder Scrolls like game of the year for the N64. Like Elder Scrolls Oblivion is like known as to be one of the best games ever. Same thing as GTA San Andreas and Final Fantasy 7, Mario 64. Uh, like games on different platforms that are best. John Romero wanted that, but with this game, it fell so miserably. It is not even funny. He even put the John Romero's Daikatana. He's gonna make you his bitch, and he says something like "suck it down." Like he made a lot of those promotions similar to Doom and Duke Nukem. That at the end of the day, like the other, like whomever got to suck it down, it was you, John Romero. Like this is such a bad game, man. Bad, bad, and I can't believe there's few people that like it. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's few people that like Superman 64. Just like I'm one of the very few that think that Carmageddon 64 is not a bad game. That top 10, it's a bad game, but not top 10 worst. A lot of the sports games, man, especially the ones in acclaim, they get a lot of hate. They were making a lot of games. Dude, I love this game. This game shouldn't be. I think this game should be like an average game. Should be anywhere between 140 and 160 ranking list, but it shouldn't be in the last 200s. Yeah, a lot of these Star Wars games kind of weren't too good on the N64. Dude, this pissed me off. Turok Rage Wars is one of the worst games. And it gets like I get it. It's like saying Quake 3 is a bad Quake game compared to Quake 2, but there's a fan fan base for Quake 3, a really fan base for Quake 3, and they'll defend it. Same thing with this game. Like the weapons are amazing. I compare this game to Quake 3. Like once you really get into this game, it's actually a really nice game. It's not a bad. I probably put this like on the top 100, man. Top 100, but I'm being biased here because of the story and everything. Maybe it shouldn't be that high, but it's still a great game. Copper Tag, never played it. A lot of those sports games, I never played them. And this is the one that really pissed me off, man. Body Harvest talked a lot of trash in this game. And honestly, this game is the granddaddy of Grand Theft Auto. A lot of people don't know this. If it wasn't for this game, they wouldn't have make a game based on like GTA based on this because GTA was a different model. So they modeled GTA out of this game, man. Out of this game. So people don't give credit to this game because of that. But yeah, nobody's gonna talk about that. The game that made Rockstar millions of dollars. And all thanks to this game. Yet this guy had the audacity to put it that low. It's a really hard game. Don't get me wrong, but it's not that low, man. And this list is just fucking annoying, dude. And then Clay Fighter, one of my favorite fighting games on the N64. I think 63 is better than Sculptor's Cut. You can't even make that good combos on Sculptor's Cut. Like the Wang or whatever Lee or whatever his name is, the Chinese guy is my favorite character on Clay Fighter. He makes those kicks like Saber Wolf on whoever you guys played Killer Instincts. Like he's all back and front, and you can actually do a lot of those chain combos out of that. But this one, like, come on, man. And the moves change in Sculptor's Cut. They're different and they're much harder. It feels more of a stiff game on the Sculptor's Cut. And then Gex 64 Enter the Gecko. Get the hell out of here, dude. This one's way better than Gex 3. And this one shouldn't be in the rank 250. At best, I think this should probably be like an average game, probably 120 to 150. Not a bad game, man. It's not a really bad game. Charlie Blast. I played this one. Kind of look kind of generic. I don't know where I would place that one. We're still on the bad list of games. Still on the bad list of freaking ads, dude. Come on. I'm gonna move this quicker because this is an hour video. Start skipping here. A lot of the sports games here, they're trash, man. Sculpture's Cut is really, they put it really low. It's not a bad game either. Yeah, it's very generic story. It feels very bland compared to a lot of other fighting games during its time, but it's not a very bad game, man. Dude, and they put Shadows of the Empire that low. I want to know where did this guy get this fucking list? It's a very tough game. And he put the Star Wars, the racing one, much higher than this. This game got a lot of praise back in the day. Got a lot of praise back in the It's not a bad game either. The Star Wars one. Yeah, those bowling games are bad on the N64. Dude, this is as soon as I saw this, like the Rage Wars like already pissed me off, but as soon as I saw this, I'm like, I can't take this. I can't take this video seriously anymore. Seeing Killer Instinct's gold this low, I'm like, surely Doom 64 is gonna be that low. But stick around. I was actually surprised where he put Doom 64. And then, oh my god, Duke Nukem 64 this low. Yes, they cut a lot of content, but it shouldn't be this slow. They added several things as well. And I feel like it's probably one of the most underrated multiplayer games on the N64. You can do a co-op as well for crying out loud. Get the fuck out of here, rank 200 and some. I would like to debate this guy and his team. Castlevania, just because of the falls and because of the controls, once you get past that, it's not a bad game. It's not a bad game. South Park, another one, it's not a bad game either. Man, dude, I swear this list is so horrendous. Yeah, I'm gonna start skipping more often for this. We start Shadowgate. I played that. It's not that good of a game. I get it. He put Army Men to higher than Army Men 1. He even put Army Men Choppers better than Army Men Run. Alien Chronicles, some people think it's a good game. Dude, Mains of Dark Age is not a bad game. WCW Nitro is not that bad of a game. Dude, 205 to Rock 2. Last time I checked, most of Turok 2 had 80% plus rating. Where the hell did this guy get his rating? This was the game that made Acclaim successful. After this game, they started going down, 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 man. This was like the pinnacle. This was the game that really brought the game success to the company. It's like basically Grand Theft Auto 3 or Grand Theft Auto Vice City that brought Rockstar back into like the glory, or Final Fantasy into the company that makes Final Fantasy. I forgot the company. I know it, but I can't think on top of my head. Turok 2 was one of them. But then after that, it was just failures after failures. And don't get me wrong, Turok 3 and Rage Wars are far from being failure games, but they didn't sell too well. This one, on the other hand, got sold too well. There was several people that didn't like it back then, but the vast majority of people liked it. Like I'd say probably 70-80% of the people, it was a great game. The other percentage said it was trash. The people that said trash was because they just got stuck. They wouldn't do anything. And it's a very hard game, man. Acclaim just went too far. Like Turok 1 was much easier game. Turok 2 is a much harder game. Yep. Turok 3 higher than Turok 2. Can you fucking guys believe that? Like I've seen so many people rank several things, but this one past Turok, nah. Quake is not a bad game either. I don't care what this guy says otherwise. It's not a bad port. Okay. A lot of the sport games are bad, man. I'm telling you. On the N64, they were really bad. Wet Tricks is kind of a generic. It's not a bad game, but it's kind of. They put World Tour really low as well. That's a really fun multiplayer game. This one, Bomberman N64, is such an amazing game. It shouldn't. This one should be in the top 100, man. I don't know why it's so low. The multiplayer is such an amazing experience as well. Like, I can't take this list. And he put battle tanks two above one. I think two is probably better for the multiplayer experience. There's something about Turok one that the Turok one, Battle Tanks one, sorry, that I really like it. There's something about Battle Tanks one that I just prefer it over to Battle Tanks two. Even though we don't own Battle Tanks one, we just rented it back then. But we still own Battle Tanks two. And yeah, a lot of these sports games, man, they should be in the rank 200, man. I should definitely make my own list. And everybody that like Silver Wings, and I don't talk to him anymore. There's other YouTubers out there that are still playing all the N64 games. I would like for them to make their own group, man. Not necessarily Discord. Discord's trash in my book. But they should all like form together as a group, like a YouTube community or something. And those people are the ones that really should make this list. Not the freaking guys that fucking played this game for like 20 minutes and they didn't give it a chance. That's what they did with what was it? Quest 64 back in the 90s and early 2000s. They just played it and then in the forest maze where you backtrack and it's really bad. Like that's and the desert's bad as well. It probably can be worse than the forest. For those of you who played Quest 64, you know what I'm talking about. If not, then I'm sorry, but Quest 64, once you really pass that, the game just gets better and better and better. And then the desert's like, but it's just like one part of the desert that's kind of bad, but then it's not that bad. And then StarCraft 64, the game that had two players, the game that pushed the game to its limits, the game that had a lot of features. This should not be on 164, man. This should not be in this. This is a masterpiece. At this point, these games are like average and like, meh. Command and Conquer, another amazing game. Rampage 2, I still think Rampage 2 is better than the first one though, but it shouldn't be this low. Mortal Kombat Trilogy is this low, but he puts Mortal Kombat 4 up here and he puts Trilogy very down there. Like, how are we gonna take this tier list seriously, man? Let me see it in my notes here. Aside from, he also put Armament 2 and Combat more than one. He puts, you're gonna see in the list because I'm gonna spoil it. He puts Duke Nukem Zero Hour way higher than Duke Nukem 64. Zero Hour is not even a that good of a game. It's not a bad game, but it's not that good compared to 64. He put Mario Mega Man 64 so high. Honestly, it's not a bad game, but it shouldn't be a top 50. Maybe it should be a top 150, depending on preference. I don't think it's like should be in the last. I think it's an average game. I would probably put it anywhere between 100 and 150, but I wouldn't put it on the top 50. I think he put it on 50 something, 51, 50 something. I forgot. He shouldn't put. He wouldn't have put it that high. He put Mario 64 so low. And again, it's personal preference. If people are gonna put, they're gonna put Mario Kart. Okay, Dinosaur Hunter 150. I get it. That's a top 100 for me for sure, easy. But what the hell was I gonna say? Man, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. But anyways, nope, I blanked out really bad right there. This is actually not a bad game. I need to play this. I would probably put this on this list. I think Toy Story 2 is not a bad game. I forgot where he put Toy Story 2. It's not a bad game. I should really get into those platformers in the N64. They're such a masterpiece. I skip a lot of this crap, so I don't. Ipu rolls not enough so low, man. It hurts watching this. Well, it's not enough. It's an amazing game. If for yeah, if GoldenEye is gonna be better, I agree. Well, World's not enough. It's not a bad game. Like it should be top 100. He put Monopoly so low, high. He put Gauntlet Legends so low. Gauntlet Legends on the N64 is such an amazing game. The PlayStation 1 is kind of trash in my opinion. Not a bad game on the PlayStation either, but I'm saying comparing the N64 and the N60 and the PlayStation, it's like saying Battle Tanks 2 for the PlayStation and N64. Vast majority of people are gonna say the N64 is better. The only thing that the PlayStation has is the cutscenes. Rayman 2 is not a bad game. I think this guy kind of agreed on that one as well. I'm not sure where he gets this list. Like I said, he put even Duke Nukem Zero Hour like way ahead. And he put Pokemon Stadium 1 lower than Pokemon Stadium 2. Uh, I don't know. I guess that's more of a personal preference. I think the first one, the multiplayer, not the multiplayer, the 1v1 battle aspect is better, but the mini games, I think Pokemon Stadium 2 is better. Fighting Force, I defend that. Jet Force Gemini, I feel like that's a very underrated game, dude. At one point, it was getting so loved back in the late 90s when it came out. Now, a lot of people don't even pay attention to it. You saw the list 119. They would put that game as one of the best N64 games at one point. Then Hybrid Heaven. I played this game. It was probably one of those games that I probably need to really give it a chance to say if it's good or not. Goemon's Great Adventure. Wait. You put Mystical Ninja so high, but Goemon's Great Adventure really low. Like Goemon's Great Adventure is another very underrated game. Like if anything, it should be the other way around. Goemon's Great Adventure is better than Mystical Ninja because the two-player aspect is like if you're playing the Super Nintendo one, but it's more 3D. So I feel like Goemon's Great Adventure is basically Mario, the new Super Mario Brothers, but basically Goemon. That's basically what it is, and a lot of people have not even played the two-player aspect. Banjo Tooie, he put it on 115. Yeah, not as good as Banjo Kazooie, but it shouldn't be that low either. It shouldn't be. This game, another one, man. This shouldn't be this low. Such an amazing game, dude. My friend Derek likes to play this game once in a while. Likes to play this one in Mortal Kombat Trilogy and Ultimate Mortal Kombat. It's a real. I should probably make a walkthrough of this game in the future. Space Invaders. I played that one time. It's like a typical generic game, so yeah, undefended. WCW NWO should be much higher than that, man. That's actually an amazing game. The fact they put the on the Wars, what was it? No Mercy on top. They put the WCW one, the one that one, this one right here, NWO World Tour. Like, come on, man. I feel like this one's better in multiplayer. The other one is better in single player, and a lot of people say this the same thing. Not single player, but like 1v1, like having two buddies. But the WCW is better when it comes to multiplayer. Yoshi's Story is so low, man. Yoshi's Story is such an amazing game. I have not beat it. The fact that he put Sergeant Heroes way too low, he also easy a top 50 game, man. Win Back is another great game. I would probably, yeah, rank 98, 99. I'd probably put it in the top 60. Very awesome multiplayer, and I feel like it's a very underrated game, man. It didn't got a lot of attention because it came out, I think, later on during the N64 days. Hexen, I kind of, well, I respect his decision. Glover, yeah, I respect this thing from. Like as the rankings got higher and higher, I started like accepting more of the debate, but anything past 100, like 100 to like 280, that's when I was like, come on, man, no, 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 everything's wrong there. And then like once you get like the top 80, I was like, okay, I see where this one goes to there. Digital Nate second offense. No, the first one's way better, man. The first one's way better. The second offense, I gave it a try. It's like, there's something about it I just didn't like. This one's actually an amazing game. The PlayStation version sucks, in my opinion. A million. Conker's bad for the. I don't know why this guy gave it hate. Honestly, the single player doesn't feel too good compared to Banjo Kazooie and Mario 64. I get it, but it's not a bad game, dude. Not even the multiplayer. Even said the multiplayer was kind of like, considering that he probably didn't even play it, man. This is the other WCW that I was thinking, not the other one. This one and the other one are actually really good. The Toy Story 2, yeah, probably, yeah. Number 76 is Quake 2, okay. I wouldn't put that in the top 100. The Air Combat one. I'm glad this game got loved because this game gets ignored a lot, man. This fighting game. Some people say it's the best fighting game. There's a minority group out there. Mario Party 3, Worms Armageddon. Like I'm less debating here. Only thing that I wouldn't put as probably Armor Men's Arch Heroes 2 above 1, but maybe the list wouldn't be bad here. Such an amazing game, so I wouldn't argue here. It deserves a spot in the top 100. Mischief Makers, this one right here shouldn't be this. This one should be the top, probably top 30. Mischief Makers, one of the best single player games. And actually, this game deserves a remaster, dude. There's a community out there that just wants this game to be remastered. Move on quick, because I want to end this stream already. Hang time, F-Zero X. A very underrated game. I like the list here. I like that he got praised that game. Move this quicker. Shadow Man. He praised it. Mystical Ninja. I wouldn't argue there, the list. Hey, you Pikachu's way too high. Hey, you Pikachu's not that good. The fact that they force you to get the mic and finding a mic is not that easy. They're cheap. There's a lot of cheap replacements, but the fact that you need that add-on and then you have to really talk on it because there's a lot of knockoffs and third parties that don't work as well as the original one. It doesn't make the game too. I wouldn't put the Hey You Pikachu in the top 50. Maybe probably 100 to 150. It's not a bad game, but top 50, hell no, dude. Maybe debatable top 100, maybe debatable. I might put it. Yeah, he put Mortal Kombat 4 in rank 36, but he put Trilogy in like 100 and something. And then he put this one so high above the other one, the first N64 Star Wars game, Shadows of the Empire, I believe. And he put Pokemon Snap out of personal preference. It's an amazing game. I like it. Some people think it's better than what's it called? Pokemon Stadium. Nah, you can't beat Pokemon Stadium. Pokemon Stadium is the best Pokemon game in my opinion. One and two. I feel like both are equally as good. It's really hard. And I already gave you my opinions. Pokemon Stadium 2 for the mini games and Pokemon Stadium 1 for like the 1v1 aspect. And this ads, dude. Skip them for crying out loud. Look at all these freaking sports games you see. I don't care about Shaquille O'Neal or LeBron James or whomever these guys are, these deserve to be in the last 200, man. Pokemon Stadium 2, yes, such an amazing game. But the fact that he put one really much lower than the second one, and then he put Pokemon Puzzle League up past higher than Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon. What's it called? The other one. Yeah, this game is very underrated. I'm surprised he put it really high. Last Corpse got a lot of love and now it's kind of getting ignored. Surprised he put it really high. It's not a bad game, but I shouldn't put it in the top 50. Tetris, yeah, the Tetris games are not bad. Resident Evil 2 is such an amazing game. I respect that. Mario Party 3, a lot of people say Mario Party 2 is the best. I personally think that 3 is better than 2 only because of the duel, but aside from that, I feel like 2 is a better game. That's more like Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. I feel like they're equally as good for me. Even the mini games. At one point, I thought the mini games were better in the second one, and I went back to the third one was better. And now I think both are just so good. But it's more of a personal preference. What do you prefer, Duel, which I prefer more Mario Party 3 and some of the unlocking aspects, or Mario Party 2, which is the board games. Dude, he put Doom 64 in rank for 19. Holy hell. Majora's Mask. For all those Majora's Mask fans, a lot of people put them close to what's it called? Ocarina of Time. They put them close. If they put Ocarina of Time, of course, in the top 10, they usually put Majora's Mask kind of close to it. I wouldn't put it on my top 10, but for sure I'll put it in my top 30. Majora's Mask deserves a top 30. It's one of those games that you have to 100% it. If not, you won't feel completed in that game. Like, you can miss out a lot of stuff on Ocarina of Time and still enjoy the game, but Majora's Mask, you have to do 100%, man. You have to. And it's a really tough game, man. Like, seriously, Squadron? Man, this piece of shit. Who made this? Like, I want to know what kind of critics is he team chose that? Tennis, okay, I can see. A lot of people say that the soccer one is actually one of the best ones for Pokemon, Paper Mario, sorry. And of course, I saw Diddy Kong Racing past Mario Kart 64. I think I skipped Mario 64 with all the skipping. I think it was ranked 330 some. Like, it's either Mario Kart 64 and Diddy Kong are basically the Final Fantasy 7 and 8. Vast majority of people are going to say 7 is better than 8, but there's like a 20, 10, 15% that say Final Fantasy 8 is better. 70, 80% of the people are going to say Mario Kart 64 is better. You got that 10, 15% that are going to say Diddy Kong Racing is better. Same thing with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Vast majority of people are going to say Ocarina of Time, but you got that small percentage of people, 10, 15%, that say Majora's Mask is better. Like, trust me, like, it's either one thing or the other. Like, you're never gonna see 100% on something. The only thing that I see now almost 100% is Superman 64 as a bad game. I have not seen anybody say that's one of the best games. I think there was only one guy that said it was not a bad game. Only one guy in the past 10 years, 10 plus years that I've been on YouTube. So I might be probably like one of the, probably might be a troll. So I don't know. Then you put Perfect Dark, such an amazing game. Honestly, if I would put probably number one would probably be a multiplayer game, man. This guy put GoldenEye. They kind of spoiled it already. Yeah, Donkey Kong 64 is such an amazing game. It's Donkey Kong's another one. Either you really like Banjo-Kazooie more or you like Donkey Kong 64. And actually the multiplayer aspect was amazing. Yeah, he put Ocarina of Time as number three. Honestly, for me, I'm biased, so I'll probably put Doom 64. But if I wouldn't have to choose Doom 64, yeah, I'd probably put Ocarina of Time as my second favorite one. Yeah, man, Ocarina of Time and GoldenEye. Yeah, yeah, I'll probably put it on my as number one. I don't know which one to put. Maybe probably GoldenEye as number two. Yeah, that's pretty much the list for this guy. There's a lot of things that I didn't like. I'm gonna cut the stream. I'm gonna put this video on the stream, see if you can actually see it and reflect upon it. Like, what the hell, man? Like, where does this guy even get his poll from the videos? I would like to know, man, because honestly, last time I checked, a lot of the games he put really bad, like Turok 2, for example, that game get praised at 80% or more higher. So yeah, I'm gonna cut the stream. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good one. Peace.